My name is TJ Kidder. Thank you all for joining us and welcome to our VET TEC Information Session for our upcoming November cohort. Just a quick thumbs up. Can we all hear me? Can we all see the screen all right? Everything look good? Perfect. All right, let's get moving. So just to kind of give an idea of what we're going to be covering tonight, we're just going to do a quick check-in. We're going to go over some of the onboarding prep courses, the VET TEC overview on how that kind of works inside of Learn and what the program looks like. We're going to be diving into what those requirements are and what we're going to need of you, some of the documentation, and some of the other items that are a part of our onboarding process that is going to make signing up as seamless as possible. We're also going to dive into what's going to happen after graduation, what that job search process might look like. We'll have a little bit of time for questions. We do have a jam-packed schedule, so one of the things that we're going to be asking is if you do have questions while we're going through the presentation, please don't be afraid to go ahead and answer them in chat. We're going to get to them as we're going through the presentation. You also, like we mentioned, we really want you to engage. We want you to be a part of this presentation. So we have an awesome feature here in Zoom where you can raise your hand as a part of the emotions. So you can also raise your hand for a question when we get towards the end. But please try to answer in chat. We're going to get there. And also we're going to touch on at the very end the next steps and what that looks like. Cool. So just before we get into our check-in, which is super fun, we do have a few things just to go over. Our Zoom meeting etiquette. We do ask, as you are going to participate in this event and engage with us, we do have a few things that we ask of you. So first of all, we do have a code of conduct here at Learn. This is a safe, this is a brave space. We want everybody to feel included and be able to not only learn, but also, grow and be a part of our awesome community. So please be respectful with everyone. Please be, use respectful language, and we're all friends here. So let's keep it under control. Also, we also ask you to participate, engage. So like I said, please have your cameras on. Please be asking questions as we go along. We really want to, hear from you and really, get all your questions answered. And also one last thing, if you're not talking, so we do have some areas to, speak. Please just make sure if you're not talking, keep your mute button on. And then when you are speaking, you are able to unmute yourself and we can fully communicate with you that way. Since we do have a packed house tonight, let's get it into our check-in. So in the chat, one of the things we do here at Learn on a daily basis is what we call check-in. So we get together, all of our students, we kind of ask them like, how's their day going? What's going on? And then we always kind of pose a fun question to go along with it. So please, in the chat, introduce yourself, give us your name, let us know where you're at. A lot of you might not just be in San Diego where we are currently right now, where Learn is. One of the great things about the VET TEC program is a lot of you might be coming from across the country. So it's going to be fun to see where you guys are all at. And then, this last question here, we all want to know, when you were young, what did you envision growing up? What was that thing that, you really wanted to be? Maybe it was like an astronaut, or maybe you wanted to be a chef, or maybe you had something, in particular. We want to know. Answer this fun little question. We're going to answer here as a staff. So I'm going to have a couple of our staff members kind of chime in. And then, we do have a really packed house tonight. So we might have a few opportunities for some people to answer, but we do just want to make sure we get over to all our information. Let's see. Awesome things going on in chat. We got San Diego. Entrepreneur, wanted to be a fighter pilot. Oh, this is great. Firefighter. I love dinosaurs. So when I was growing up, archaeologist was at the top of the list. But we're here at Learn, we're coding. So it's kind of fun where all of our, we transition to. Maybe Kumba, do you want to kind of hop in real quick? What did you envision when you were growing up?
Thanks, TJ. Hello, everyone. It's great to see everybody again. I guess I would say Miss America, and that didn't work out. So I decided I wanted to go in the military at that time. So I went to military college. So I will popcorn it to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. So great to have you here. My name's Sarah. I'm an instructor at Learn. When I was young, I really wanted to be a veterinarian, but I really just thought that that was playing with animals. And I remember for a school project, I had to interview a veterinarian, and he kind of broke it down to me that that is not how it really goes. So I'm glad that I moved away from that future. Jake, how about you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jake. I'm the Career Services Manager here at Learn. I wanted to be a doctor when I grew up. And I remember when I was in a anatomy class in high school, we Skyped with the surgeon who was performing a knee surgery or knee replacement. And I was watching it live and I immediately passed out and realized I did not have the stomach for anything medical whatsoever. And so, yeah, that was not going to work out for me. I will pass it to Vanessa.
Sorry, guys, I'm taking notes, so it's really hard to find the unmute button. I, like Sarah, wanted to be a veterinarian for a long time, but that just didn't work out. And I'm Vanessa, the operations coordinator for Learn, so I interact with students more in the onboarding process.
Awesome. Thank you all for chiming in. I think we have just a time for maybe a few people. Like I mentioned, one of the great things to Learn is Zoom. You have those reactions. So if anybody kind of raises their hand real quick, I'll pick on a few people. Maybe they want to share. And the raise their hand function is on the reactions. Right? I don't see it on here. I'm sharing my screen. We are. Anybody?
Yeah, Kirk, go ahead.
Kirk. All right, go ahead, Kirk.
Hey everybody, my name is Kirk. I live in San Diego. When I was young, I wanted to be a firefighter because me and my friends were obsessed with this movie called Backdraft. And we used to pull the hose and then, spray the brown grass and pretend it was fire.
Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you, Kirk, for participating. I appreciate that. Any other few people that want to chime in? We got time for just maybe one or two more. Not yet. All right, well, we got a lot of stuff. Brandon, please go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself. Oh, go ahead, Brandon. You can take it away. I think you're unmuted. I think we're having a hard time hearing you, Brandon. All right, cool.
You hear me?
Go ahead. Yep.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, introduce myself. So I'm Brandon Howell. I'm currently in Virginia. I'm transitioning out of the U.S. Navy. I actually just got out of the Navy yesterday. What I wanted to be when I was young was I actually wanted to join the Navy like my father and join the family tradition. So I'm glad to do that. And now I'm looking to venture my knowledge into the IT world.
Excellent. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing. I really appreciate your words there. That was awesome. We're going to kind of continue on to the next portion of our presentation. So I do appreciate you all engaging with us and interacting with us there. I'm going to pass it off on to Kumba, who's going to talk a little bit more about the structure of Learn, what the VET TEC process looks like, and what a little bit more of the onboarding process will look like as well.
Thank you so much, TJ. Everyone, as I said, it's so great to see everyone. I know I've been speaking to y'all over the past several months, so it's great that we can all gather tonight and to get some information. As most of y'all know, Learn is a 4-month intensive bootcamp. The first 3 months we spent learning on coding education, followed by a 1-month guaranteed internship with a tech company or a startup. And then we also provide career services. But most importantly, I think we have an amazing community that will support you throughout this process. Should you secure a spot in our upcoming cohort on November 29th. Next one. Okay. VET TEC. You know, with the VA, there's so many rules, there's so many regulations going on, and oftentimes, you know, when I speak to vets, the VA doesn't always do the best job of informing them in terms of just what the next steps are. So we're just going to go over some stuff, because it's really important, you know, in order to secure your spot in the upcoming cohort, that these documentations are uploaded to VA once, and they're also submitted to us. First, the most important thing is your COE, your certificate of eligibility. If you have not done so already, making sure that you forward me that COE. Sometimes it comes in the form of an email. Sometimes it comes in the form of a physical letter. If it isn't a physical letter, you can scan it and forward that to me. So this way we have it and we know that you are eligible for the program, would be the most important thing. Once you've been in order to be obviously accepted into Learn, you have to have the COE. And then once you've been accepted into the program, in order for us to be able to upload all your information in the VA1 system about 30 days prior to the class, we do have to get your social security number. So what we'll do, we'll call you up, because we obviously is sensitive information. We'll get the social security number, and then we will upload that information 30 days from the start of class. They will not allow us to do it any earlier. And part of the reason is because, you know, VET TEC funding runs out fast. They don't want individuals who are program is starting maybe 9 months from now to secure funding. So in order to keep the folks with the most upcoming program uploaded in the system and getting funding first, they require this 30-day rule. So 30 days prior, I'll give you a call up, get your social security number, I'll upload that information into the system. And that triggers the VA to go ahead and obviously start processing your award letter and payment to our institution. One thing that's important, once that process has happened, once all your information has been uploaded to VA once, and you've gotten your award letter, if you decide between that point and the start and when class starts that you decide, hey, you know, this is just not for me. If you do drop, you have to wait 18 months before you can access your VET TEC benefits again. So once again, after we've uploaded your information to the VA system and the award letter has been sent to you and to us, if you drop within that time frame, you will not be able to access those benefits for 18 months in the course. And one thing that with this upcoming, our previous cohort, this was not an issue, just because they had the waiver, and everyone's aware of their BAH, their allowance housing. Moving forward, that is going to be affected. Right now, the waiver is in place until December 21st. So after December 21st, if they do not extend it, right now we don't have any word if they're going to extend it or not. If they do not extend it, those rates will go back to online rates. So there is a difference between obviously the in-person rate and the online rate. So for anybody moving forward after December 21st, those rates will go back to online rates. So just check your VA account to make sure what the difference is, because I know every place is different, but the online rate is exactly the same. Okay. So these are the things that we have to have in order for you to obviously to be able to start the class with regards to VET TEC. Okay.
Great, thank you, Guma. I just have one question in chat that I just wanted to circle back into just to get some verification for you. If somebody already has their COE and already has been approved from VET TEC, do they need to reapply for the program with the fiscal year?
They do not, because as long as the COE was done in 2021, you do not have to reapply for that, right? So now if your application's on file, y'all all folks are on the waiting list and stuff like that, so we don't need anything additional for you.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, so once you've been welcome to Learn, we've awarded you a spot in this process. We said, hey, you're good to go. We're going to start the onboarding process. And what the onboarding process looks like, it's just a series of requirements that we require in order for you to maintain your eligibility in our program, right? Because at any point, if we do not get these documentations, we do reserve the right to rescind your acceptance and offer that spot to someone else. So it's really important communication that you follow up through these steps, right? So onboarding process, that's where Vanessa will be instrumental in that process. She manages all that. You will get, we require you to get personal information. In the next slide, I'll talk about just the prep work that's required for our students that you have to participate in that. We'll sign you up for Slack, and you have to receive your high school diploma or the equivalent to that. Just certain required documents. And as y'all are aware, we do provide a laptop for the 4 months that is required. Our students do have to use the learned equipment when everybody kind of operating in the same environment. You know, if there's any type of technical issues, our instructors can be able to help a lot easier if everybody's working from the same equipment. Okay, so the onboarding process is really important, that you read through that information and you follow the instructions very thoroughly. And it's a bunch of documentation that we need you to submit to us within a timely manner. Okay. The next slide, we'll talk about just what's a couple of things that's required of within the onboarding process. Okay, so for anybody who's it's awarded a spot in the cohort, you start the onboarding process. One of the first things you have to do is register for what we call our prep courses, right? So with these prep courses, you have a couple of options. The first option is our full Jumpstart, which is our prerequisite program that teaches you all the fundamentals and gets all that stuff under your belt before you're able to, so you can hit the ground running and be successful in the full-time course. And Jumpstart, it happens on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and happens from November 5th to November 7th, excuse me, I couldn't see that. That would be the first option you have, and that's the option we recommend that students do, just because you'll get the full experience. But we understand that sometimes things come up and some students may not necessarily be able to meet that one. So that would be the first option. If you cannot make that for scheduling conflicts, the next option will be either doing a workshop, which is build your first website, or a mini Jumpstart. Either the Jumpstart or a combination of those two things will make up for the prerequisite requirement. And this is absolutely required because it gives you a chance to see if this is really what you want to do, right? And this is prior to your award letter being received. So this way, if you decide, hey, coding is not for me, this is not the right environment for me, you can withdraw your acceptance without being affected, without those 18 months being affected. And it also provides you obviously free resources, making connections. You'll actually get to meet our instructors, which is obviously essential. You'll get to meet your other classmates in the Jumpstart. You'll get a feel for what the virtual classroom experience is like, because our program is really, it's not like a traditional online program where, you log in and then you watch videos, right? We're really interactive, we're live, you'll log in every day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You'll have your instructors, you'll have your classmates. We work in peer programming, and Sarah will go over that a little bit when she speaks after that. So it's really engaging, it's interactive. But the Jumpstart allows you to see that in action and get a feel for it, and also decide if this is really the right fit for you with regards to the program, without you having to be penalized if you decide to pull out prior to your award letter being received.
Excellent. Thank you, Kumba, for going over how the VET TEC program works, all the documentation involved. I'm going to pass it over to Sarah, who's our lead instructor, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the classroom and how the classroom structure works. Sarah, please take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. And thank you all for being here. We're really excited to have so much interest in our program. It's wonderful to see that there's so many veterans that want to pursue software development. So we're just happy to have you. We're a really small team at Learn. We work really closely with our students. We're definitely a mom and pop style of business. So our cohorts are small. We work very intimately and closely with all of our students. But beyond learning to code, our goal is to make connections and build the tech community. So as a student at Learn, your presence in the classroom every day is really important. It is expected that you will be in class on camera from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time for 16 weeks of the program. And while we're a remote class, meaning wherever you are physically, doesn't matter, we are a face-to-face engaging, interacting all day long. And we do operate in the Pacific time zone. So at 9 o'clock Pacific time, we log on together and we spend the day face-to-face. So if you could skip to the next slide, TJ. And the cool thing about choosing a boot camp is that it is a fantastically economical way to make a significant life change. We have people, our average student is making a transition from a previous career to their next one. So, so whether that is from the military or from a different background, we are packing a lot of content in order to allow people to make this transition. It's a lot of content in a short period of time. It's a very intense experience, and it does require a particular, a certain level of sacrifice. So this is definitely the time to cash in favors from your family and close friends to kind of help you out and support you. It is not the time to make major life changes or, start extreme diets or go on vacation. We expect you to be present every day. And generally speaking, our learning environment is really different than like a traditional education environment. You may find that you have to relearn how you learn. And that's great, because the goal for us is more than teaching you specific syntax or memorizing code snippets. We want you to be able to come away from this experience understanding the fundamentals of software development and being really, really good at learning. This career is lifelong learning. You're on a journey that never ends. So that, I love this slide too. Like, being brave enough to suck at something new is really important, because we're all going to be bad at the thing before you ever get good at it, and you have to be okay with that. And most of the work we do is done in class. Our general policy is that outside of class, you should do whatever you need to do to be at your best self at 9 a.m. the next day. For most of my students, that means doing some amount of studying, reviewing, prepping for the next day. But sometimes that means unplugging and taking care of your mental health, or exercising, or being with your family. So there's not a ton of work outside of the cohort that's like directly assigned to you, unlike traditional education, where at the end of the day you say, here's your homework and bring it back the next day. We don't really work like that. The couple of exceptions to that policy is our weekly assessments, which we give our students time in class on Friday to work on the assessment, but most students don't finish and would need to spend additional time working on that over the weekend in order to submit it the following Monday. The other exception to that is creating your personal development portfolio. A portfolio should be a representation of your brand as a developer. And so we offer a lot of resources, but it's largely up to you to create a portfolio website. But the work we do together in class is done in a paired setting, which again is why your presence is so important. You not being there affects your team. You missing class means that your partner doesn't have the person that they were working with. And so we're making the assumption that everyone is here from 9 to 5 every day. Okay, next slide, TJ, thank you. So we loan you a MacBook Air computer for the duration of class and your internship. And we set up the computers so that all the technologies that you will need for class are already on there. And having the entire class on the same computer setup will make our collaborative workflow much easier. And so again, it's expected that the students will use the computers loaned to them. And at the end of the cohort, we'll provide you with all the information you need in order to get your own personal computers set up with the same environment that we use in class. Okay, next slide, please. And just in general, my experience for students who are successful in the cohort at Learn are not necessarily the ones that come in that are the best developers or come in with the most experience, but those who are most committed. And students who are committed to many things, right? To learning, to helping their cohort mates learn, to working really hard, to being open to personal growth, and to being in that uncomfortable space of not knowing the answer. And the students who get the jobs fastest out of the bootcamp are also not those who are necessarily the quote unquote best developers. People who get jobs are the ones who have really good communication skills, who have a really good positive attitude and genuine excitement about the industry. And people who are willing to ask questions and to learn and to again, be in that space of being uncomfortable and being okay with that. And I see those things translating into people who get hired. Those ones get, like, people who have those skill sets get hired faster than the people who are the best developers. So that, and, you know, a little sense of hustle is always a good thing. So to talk a little bit more about jobs and internship and all that stuff, I think we're going to pass it off to Jake, our career services manager.
Hey everybody, wanted to reiterate what Sarah said and really just thank you guys for being interested in joining the program and taking another step closer here. So want to talk about the internship program specifically. So every student who joins the cohort will be set up with a 1-month internship. This is really more so than anything to give you an opportunity to practice what you're just learned in the classroom for a couple of months. So it'll give you hands-on experience. It'll give you the ability also to work with new technology and also put some more things on your resume, build your resume, and kind of prepare you more completely for the job search itself. It also does give you the opportunity to be hired by our internship partners as well, which is something people are frequently pretty interested in. But yeah, it's a 1-month kind of, I would say, really an opportunity to dig into and kind of hone the skills that you've worked on over the last couple of months and through the program specifically. You can hop to the next slide, please. And then after the cohort, specifically wanted to mention that while the program that we have is not exclusively for veterans, we do have resources for veterans specifically from a career services perspective. And part of this is being a student at Learn, you get access to career services for life. So not only will we help you find that first job when you finish the program, but we'll help you 5 years down the line when you're looking to make that transition into a senior role or a different type of company. When I say that, and people take me up on that all the time. So I'm currently working with a handful of people who are looking to make that next move in their career as well. So while again, these are, the program isn't specifically only for veterans, we do have some resources and are continuing to develop all of that stuff that can help from a specifically for veterans as well. Career services here also is individualized. So we'll work with each of you based on your background and your story, not necessarily just throw out some cookie cutter resources and say, here's the best thing to do to get a job. We'll break it down and understand a little bit more about your background and how to set you up for success in the job search from that perspective as well. That is all I have for you, TJ. Any questions?
I'm muted. Thank you, Jake. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for the presentation. We do, let's see, what time are we at? I'm trying to see. We are at 6 o'clock on the dot. So I do want to be respectful of everybody's times. I feel like we have been getting to a ton of questions here in the chat. So I do want to keep the floor open for just a few minutes to answer a few more questions before we leave here.
And TJ, I just want to make one tiny point while we're waiting on questions. So admissions decisions will be made no later than October 15th is when you all should hear back from us with regards to your spots in the cohort. If you are waitlisted, it does not mean that you won't get a spot. You know, there's individuals that are, for whatever reason, stuff happens, they decide that they can't make it in the cohort, and then we would go ahead and offer that spot that becomes available on the next person. And if for whatever reason you do not get a spot in this cohort, we will give you first considerations into the next cohort, which will be an alpha. Okay, so I just wanted to make those points.
All right.
For those of you asking how you can increase your chances for a spot, our number one thing is engagement. We want to know that you want to do this and that your goals align with ours and that you're willing to participate in the process. This is definitely it's a big undertaking. It's a huge and really difficult thing to do, and we just want to make sure that you're up for the challenge and you can show us that by engaging and participating in the process.
Awesome. Thank you for those last few remarks, Sarah. Please, everybody, please reach out to us if you have just a few more questions. Noah, your question, how do we show that between now and the 15th? We're going to be following up with everybody, kind of what the next steps are from this presentation. All of you have met with Kumba already. Everybody who's attending this thing, so we're going to meet with the staff and kind of decide what the next steps are, and we'll be following up here before the 15th, so you'll be hearing us from them. Please, if you have a few more additional questions or any concerns, please don't be afraid to reach out to us. I know a lot of you have been working with Kumba. You have her email there. You can also reach out to us as a staff at hello@learnacademy.org. We'd love to answer all your questions. We do really appreciate all of you joining us tonight. And we really hope to see you either in this process or also in our upcoming coding workshops. So all of our workshops that we have coming up throughout the month of October, they're starting on the 20th, which were our fun one, WTF is Coding. These are all great opportunities to not only learn about coding and about a coding career, but just to kind of get started in the process. A lot of you are just learning how to code. A lot of you are just starting to engage with code. And all of these workshops and all of these onboarding opportunities are a great way to learn more about us as a staff, more about Learn Academy, but also learn about coding and how to really get that started. So again, I really do appreciate all you joining us tonight, and we'll be following up with you with some more information, and I hope you were able to kind of get an idea of what the next steps were. So thank you. Have a great night, everyone. I do appreciate you joining us.